Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video I'm going to be taking you through the week ahead analysis. I'm going to look at the news coming out this week and some charts of interest. So we do have quite a bit of red folder data this week, especially out of the US. We have the Empire State Manufacturing Index, we have some PPI data, which is going to be fairly important to watch on Tuesday. Forecast showing that we should see a move from 0.4% to 0.5%. However, we have seen recent inflation data come in lower from the US, so we could start to see the data coming out of the US starting to decline as well, adding those pressures to the US dollar. So we'll keep an eye on the PPI data this week. We'll also keep an eye on the core retail sales as well, but we can see that it's forecasted to jump from 0.1% to 0.5% and from 0% to 0.9%. So I think if we see a drop in figures here, anything below the 0.1 or below the 0% for retail sales, then we'll probably see the dollar weakness continue. But that's what's coming on Wednesday, so keep your eye on that one. We do have CPI data out of the UK as well. UK looking to see further inflation growth from 10.1% to 10.5%. We then have other CPI data, so you can see here in Canada we have CPI, the median CPI year on year and the trimmed CPI. CPI month on month is looking to show growth from 0.1% to 0.7%. So Canada, or the Bank of Canada, may have to look at considering what to do in their next rate announcement, considering the fact that the Bank of Canada have slowed the pace of tightening at the moment. So they may want to reconsider that if inflation does continue to grow. Towards the end of the week, then we do have monetary policy report hearings out of the UK with some employment data as well out of Australia. Moving on then to some charts of interest. Let's just jump on to the strength meter. Quite interesting actually, the strength meter at the moment, considering what's been going on in the markets, and we can see the dollar is the weakest currency at the moment. It came from the highs up here in the +7s and has dropped all the way down to the -6 level now. So that basically tells us that it's weak, but at a reversal point. However, usually when I look for a reversal, I like to see at least a week of sort of movement, or a bit of sideways movement, or even a bit of a push back up before considering looking for the reversal here. So dollar, the weakest currency. The two currencies that seem to have outperformed are the yen and the Swiss francs. So there's something that you could be looking at, giving some attention going into this week as well. You can also see the Australian dollars perform pretty well. CAD's perform poorly with the dollar, so you might want to be looking at CAD short opportunities as well. Going on to the currencies of interest then, so you've got the dollar index here. The reason I'm highlighting the dollar index yet again is because we're trading below some pretty important levels. We've broken out of this bullish channel here, and price is just trading through major key points now. So we've broken through the 108 handle. Price is currently trading at the 106.40, and I think if we were to get any kind of rallies this week from the US dollar index, maybe back into the 108, I think that will be met with selling from sort of short traders here for the US dollar, pushing price towards that 105 handle. If price just falls straight to the 105, we may get a little bit of a relief rally from there, a bit of profit taken. However, if we breach that, the next sort of area for me is around the 101s or even the 100 area for the US dollar index. Moving on to pound then, so pound interesting. Despite some negative data recently out of the pound is breaking through key areas. This is probably mainly due to the US dollar weakness in the market, and you can see that we're trading at the 118 handle at the moment. Price has found support and resistance here in the past, so we may find a little bit of selling coming from this area here. If we did, and we come back into the 116 handle, though, I would expect buyers to push the price higher at that point. A breach above 118 would open the door up to the 122 here. You can see prices formed like a double top here in the past, so a breach above the 118 handle I think would open the door up to that 122 resistance. Going on to dollar yen then, so dollar yen, huge drop to the downside last week, big push to the downside, breaching that 145 area. I think a lot of people were expecting the dollar to CPI data to come out better than anticipated and to see price move towards the 150 handle, but that wasn't to be. Instead, price we had poor CPI data pushing price to the downside, breaking below 142. 138 is the next point of support for price. So I would be expecting some kind of reaction around about the 138 or even this trend line support that sits just below. If price was to kind of find a bit of support there, we could see a move back to the 142. If, however, price is going to follow the trend and essentially if we get a sort of a pullback earlier in the week back to the 142, we could see a move back down to 138, and if price then breaches lower, we've got all these levels down here to consider. Finally then, dollar Swiss. I mean, look at the size of the candle here on dollar Swiss last week. Swiss franc, one of the best performing currencies last week. Dollar, one of the worst, and you can see how it's reflected here on this weekly time frame. We've traded basically, or we've basically failed at parity, and price failed to get above the key level there, and we've just absolutely rocketed to the downside, and then prices just trading by these lows here towards the 0.9450 handle. So I think because price has done this week, we may get a slight recovery from price because it's moved such a long way. However, if the momentum does continue and we do see a move down, the next level of interest is going to be the 0.91 handle. Hope you enjoyed this video update. If you did, leave this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more of our Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you in the next video.